Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, an even bigger welcome because you have joined me on a week where I have a particularly juicy, you might say, topic to dive into with you all. But you know, before I do that, obviously have to make sure that you've hit that subscribe button because it is the only guaranteed fail-safe 100% confident way that you will get notified every single time I drop a new video. And why wouldn't you want to do that? Do you know what I mean? It really is silly season, isn't it? I've actually gone and looked up silly in the dictionary, and it is defined as having or showing a lack of common sense or judgment. And let's be honest, there has been an apparently gaping lack of common sense and judgment, really, best judgment at least, in this Oscar Piastri saga so far. At first, I was baffled as to how Alpine would put out a statement confirming that Piastri was going to be replacing Fernando Alonso for 2023 without Piastri's permission. I really thought, like, wow, how embarrassing for them. And then the more that I read into the situation and the more information that came out, it seems like they really did 100% believe that Piastri was committed to them going forward. And it's based on, from what we know, actual signed documents. So where did it all go wrong then? So let's look at the facts, and insofar as we have them or that they have come out since this whole thing kicked off. Alpine and Piastri, as far as we can tell, did come to at least a surface level of legal agreement that Piastri had committed to them for a certain period of time. And Otmar Szafnauer has actually confirmed this information. He commented, in fact, that he expected more loyalty from Piastri after the investment that the team has put into his career to date, which is fair enough. You're obviously going to be pissed off. You invest in a driver and you're hoping for him to essentially seed your future in tandem with Esteban Ocon, and he leaves. You're going to be upset about that. With that being said, we also know that the document did not state that Piastri would be a first team driver at Alpine next season. And we know that because they didn't expect Fernando Alonso to jump ship to Aston Martin. So it was going to be Alonso and Ocon again next year for a year. And again, Otmar Szafnauer has come out and said, our plan was to loan out Oscar for the 2023 season to another team and then have him back to replace Alonso when he finished his contract at the end of 2023. All of that makes sense, and given that loan commitment, it gives me the impression that Piastri had actually committed to Alpine over a multi-year period, because it wouldn't make sense for him to just commit to be loaned out for 1 year, in my opinion. Alpine have now come out and said that they are, and I quote, over 90% certain that the High Court is where this is going to end up and that they're going to bring a case against Piastri. And let's be honest, you're bringing your own drivers to the High Court. The relationship isn't good there, is it? So what about Oscar Piastri's side of this argument? Unfortunately, we know very little because there has essentially been radio silence from him ever since he came out on social media refuting the statement from Alpine saying that he would be driving for them next year, and he alluded that he would be driving with another team in Formula 1 but did not name who that team was. You would assume that the radio silence is based on legal advice that he's been given, and really the only things that we know for sure right now is that Piastri does not intend to carry on with Alpine either as a reserve driver or as a first team driver. And we also know that in addition to the document that he signed with Alpine, which we don't know the contents, but we can infer from, as I said, what Otmar Szafnauer has revealed, he also signed another contract document with another unnamed team, as I said, that he alluded to in his social media post. Now, heavy rumours are swirling that he is going to replace Daniel Ricciardo at McLaren, and that Daniel Ricciardo has officially been told by the team that this is happening. Now, all of this drama that has surrounded the announcement and happened afterwards has put a halt on that, so we have not had an official announcement here, so we really can't say for sure. You would think though that Piastri would not have signed anything with another team unless both he and his legal counsel were 100% sure that there was some sort of get out of jail clause with Alpine in whatever document it was that he signed with them, and that it wouldn't come back to bite him if he did try and get out. And unfortunately, it has bitten him badly. So the question is, where does this really leave him now? Obviously, I'm not a legal expert, and as fans, there is a huge amount about a court case like this that we just won't know. However, as far as I can see it, Oscar Piastri currently has 3 options. The first of those is that he really just wanted to let this die down and just get himself established in his first year of Formula 1 before making any more major waves. He could stick with whatever he agreed to with Alpine and settle the situation out of court, not let it get to the High Court. Now, whether they in turn would want to do that at this point is not entirely clear. Obviously, they're taking him to the High Court with the intention of proving that he does not have wiggle room out of this agreement that they have with him. However, he's clearly expressed a desire to leave the team, and especially, as I said earlier, the original plan was to loan him out for 2023. I really don't know if they would allow him to do that at this point, whether they would think of keeping him as a reserve driver for another year, some sort of punishment, or whether they would let him have a first team seat. We've seen in the past F1 can be very cruel, and who knows if they would be willing to let him do that. Option number 2 obviously is to fight this out with Alpine in the High Court in the hopes of honouring whatever commitment he has given this other team, supposedly McLaren. And the problem with that, I mean, there's a lot of problems, but really High Court cases are long, arduous and expensive, and who knows how long it could take for this to be sorted out if it were to go all the way in court especially. And Alpine may be bluffing with their claim that they're over 90% confident in their position, but even if they are, a court case would be hugely problematic for the young Australian. The third option I'm going to suggest here might seem a little bit extreme, but if things really were to go completely south in this whole situation for Piastri, he could step away from Formula 1 for a year. He could go probably to the US and race at least part of a season. He could potentially do what Alex Albon did after he lost his Red Bull seat and go into DTM for a year. No matter which one of those 3 routes Piastri takes, I do hope that he gets a race in Formula 1 in 2023. I think it would be a real shame if we were to start preventing genuine talent that is coming in from the feeder series from getting into the top tier of the sport, regardless of this bizarre scenario that is happening. When you look at drivers like Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi, who, let's be completely blunt, in 2022 in particular have been treating their machines like bumper cars out on track and still have their seats, it would make the loss of Piastri, I personally think, an even bigger tragedy. Alright folks, that's all I've got for you today. That is my 2 cents on this saga. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Do you think Piastri is going to come out of this unscathed? Do you think that he has made a really big mistake here? I'll be hanging out with you in the comments once the video is live, so please do make sure to leave a comment down below, and I will very much look forward, as always, to seeing your opinions. But in the meantime, take care and enjoy your racing.